What about like porn literate? Like porn's lit.
Porn's lit.
Porn.
It's lit. It's lit to be porn literate.
It's like get porn lit.
Yeah.
Lit.
Light up porn.
Lit. Well, it's gonna be like literate, right? Your porn viewing habits suck.
Your porn is shit. So watch porn that's lit.
So what are we gonna do about it?
What if
Jacinda?
what if we did like a smoke-free 2025? Like, what if it was like porn-free 2025? Just kidding. It's never going away.
I love that. Porn-free 2025.
Psych!
Psych, it's not going, you can't delete it.
It's here to stay. So deal with it.
So get porn lit.
Yeah.
I gotta say, all of these have been really bad.
None of this is good.
None of this is all.
I'm glad neither of us is writing this down.
This is fun.
I know. I kind of can't wait to have some friends around and talk about porn.
Well, it'll be interesting because it's like we've talked about it a lot on the podcast or just being gay over brunch, but it'd be cool to hear from other perspectives and I guess from like our female friends and our straight male friends. I'm like, oh, I have no idea. We're definitely going to need a bit of that wine to sort of lubricate the conversation, if you know what I mean.
Right. Oh, by the way, I don't want to brag, but I got a phone number for Astrid Glitter.
How did you do that?
Oh, I have my ways. I have my ways.
Oh, listen to you. You sound like a spy. The porn spy.
Do you remember the first time you saw like a porn video? Because for me, I remember absolutely the first video of porn that I saw was 2 Girls, 1 Cup. That was the first porn video I saw.
The first?
Uh-huh.
That's like never seeing a movie and watching like Saw 2.
Like, how do you learn how to suck a cock with it, unless you like suck a cock, or like you just, or talk to your friends where they're like, you just need to suck it, and you're like, the mechanism of it.
Pretend it's an ice cream.
Yeah, I get like that porn. There's like a whole, I don't even know whether educational porn exists, but that would be great.
Because I'll talk about something that like, it's probably more of a meme, but I reckon it speaks to a lot of that. A lot of women talk online about how a lot of men, when they're rubbing the clitoris, they think they're in a porno. Because in porn, when men are rubbing the clitoris, they're rubbing it like super hard.
Yes.
But in reality, like, and you know, I'm not gonna say I'm an expert, but.
Okay. That's because it's performative.
I mean, even the like, if I see a dude licking a woman's clitoris on porn, the head is like angled like this, and his tongue's like really pokey. And it's weird because if anyone started licking my clitoris and they were like had their head like that and then the pokey tongue, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, well, bro, like sis, what's happening? Like,
how many, like, do we all pay for porn here?
I don't pay for it. I would pay for it if I found a content creator that I liked.
Yeah. I don't feel like I watch a lot of porn. I basically go like Pornhub, this, try a few things, go like, oh, it's not really for me, and then I don't watch it again for 6 months. So my problem with it is that I have no idea, like, when I go to look at porn, what to search. Like, I mean, the only thing I can think of is like just like porn for women.
That is a category.
Because it's the keywords, like, what, I don't know.
I don't reckon that the category is good enough, because I'm like passionate kissing, lots of foreplay, and lots of like tender face touching, and then sensual, sweaty, gorgeous. And I'm like, porn for women, it's still hard to decipher.
We talked to someone who's doing their masters in porn. They're big dissertation was about, like, does the perfect porn clip exist? And it's actually like, you will never find this thing.
You can up here. You can create the perfect porn.
A little less and a little more.
Are there fears around porn for straight men? Because I feel like that idea of like things like erectile dysfunction and stuff, they really come up a lot.
Yeah. So I would say porn is kind of talked about on like the recreational level, like, you know, cracking up, making jokes and stuff about it. But I think the addiction part of it and also how often you consume it is something that definitely isn't talked about. So me personally, I've actually like sworn completely off of watching porn. So,
Was it making your sex life worse? Is that why you quit? Why did you quit?
yeah, see, that's the interesting thing is, yeah, I had this like steady relationship with it for so long. And then where I saw the effects of it wasn't until I was in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the big things they talk about is when it's so easy to get,
Yeah.
why bother like building a sexual relationship with your partner?
Right, yeah. If you use the analogy of drinking, everyone knows binging's like not great. Is the idea that porn could and should be like a glass of wine with dinner, as opposed to
Have a little bit of porn every night.
yeah.
You know what, Alice? As I actually I really do agree with you.
I feel like the great thing about porn is that everyone has a perspective on it, because even if you are not a consumer of porn, there'll be a good reason why you're not. It's hard to be neutral on porn.
Yeah.
So this whole series, the reason we brought you here, the reason we got a planner out, is because we're making a campaign about porn, but we're not sure what we want to say.
I guess it's like if you were given an endless budget and like billboards, like radio ads, like you can have art green in the campaign, whatever it is.
Stunning.
And it's like, it is gonna hit the message of what we should be talking about when it comes to porn. What is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the most iconic drink driving ad in New Zealand commercial history?
Maybe ghost chips?
If you want to build a campaign that touches the heart of New Zealand, just get two Māoris in a room and just tell them to talk about shit you're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah. What if it was two white gay dudes? Because that's what it is. The porn addiction subject is really tense.
It scares me.
Yeah.
It worries me that this series could cause someone to be addicted to porn.
You were talking about it like it was so fun, and now I'm addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was all ha ha ha, and now it's uh-oh, I'm watching porn at the dinner table again.
This is why it's going to be so good to talk to Dr. Kris Taylor, who has done a whole bunch of work, PhD, he's a doctor, in pornography, and like whether it's addictive, or whether it's just fun.
Everything falls into that binary. Addictive and fun.
Strip clubs, fun. Cocaine, addictive.
Cheese.
Addictive. Crackers, fun. So your PhD looked into pornography, but what specifically about pornography?
So the specifics were men's experiences of viewing pornography, but I was also really interested in this idea of pornography addiction, which is, I would argue, it's one of the main ways that people talk about pornography. I'm trying to find out like why men would, diagnose themselves that way, because it's a pretty full-on thing to like attach to yourself as a person.
Is it a classifiable medical condition?
It's not.
Yeah.
So you cannot be addicted to pornography, is that what you're saying?
No. You can't be classified as having pornography addiction officially, but that's not to say that people don't perceive themselves as having an addiction or feel like they're addicted. So it's a really important distinction, because there's a misconception where I'll be like, pornography addiction doesn't exist. It does exist, clearly, because people are describing themselves that way. So it clearly is real in some sense to some people.
I mean, is there any evidence that relates like the amount of porn you watch to your ability to be able to have an erection?
I've got some bad news, which is that there's actually really not a lot of research in this area, which...
No.
Isn't it like, I think it's just really fascinating that we have this like public discussion that happens in media, and you guys clearly like picked up on this, like these really strong narratives that are like going around. But in terms of like the actual evidence, it's not there. And if it is there, it's controversial, let's say.
It's funny though, right? Because like if there's been no data that's been collected around porn. How did you do your research?
Well, there's heaps of data, but a lot of it is this correlational type data, which...
What does that mean?
A correlation is like two variables occur at the same time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right. And correlation is not causation.
Right.
Right?
I'm funnier when I'm around Eli.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't.
But I'm not making you
You're
funny.
not making me funny.
Yeah.
There we go.
God,
And
thank
you better keep that in mind.
And so what you'll see is like lots of research. I'd say the vast majority of pornography research is this correlational type research. So one of them is like aggression. People say that people who watch aggressive pornography are more likely to be aggressive. But these are correlational relationships, which means that people who are more aggressive or inclined towards more rough sex will seek out more rough sex videos. And so in my research, I wanted to avoid that problem. And so I did qualitative research, which is a fascinating experience because you're meeting a stranger, they come into the room, and then straight away you're talking about, you know, rimming. Or would you know, like it's just like...
I mean, we've done that here as well, haven't we?
Were many people like, I've got a positive relationship with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was really keen to talk to people all the way through from people who describe themselves as addicted to pornography and were having a really hard time with it, all the way through to people who would just like love it and enjoy it. And what I found is like every single interview was different. I'll give you an example. Like you could have somebody who watches pornography once a month, right? And they could describe themselves as a pornography addict because it conflicts with some moral or ethical or religious views that they hold. On the other hand, you could have another person who watches it daily and they wouldn't be an addict because they wouldn't describe themselves that way.
I've always wondered that because I grew up in the church and youth leaders would speak about, I've recovered from a porn addiction. And I've thought about it for so long. I'm like, I wonder how much they actually watch porn. And like, yeah, whether it's an addiction or whether it was just like, sometimes I wanted to watch porn, but God doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So therefore it's an addiction.
There's amazing research about the way that churches have taken up the addiction language over the last 20 years and that biological description of what's wrong with pornography has really overtaken a like moral explanation about what's wrong with pornography. And so language about addiction has really sort of taken over our discursive resources. We don't actually have that many ways of talking about pornography.
So good to talk to a doctor, first of all.
I know.
It's wild how so many people have such strong opinions about porn, but they don't have any information because there's
no
not enough
information.
research.
Yeah, I know. It's so easy to read like an infographic on Instagram and be like, well, that's true. I'm never going to come again. You know? And then really it's like, what?
What's going on?
Oh,
Have
slab.
your phone on.
Oh.
It's actually for you, Eli.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hello, Eli speaking.
Hello, Eli. This is Astrid. I made a movie called John. I think you've been pinging me.
Yes, we messaged you because we are making a documentary about porn and we thought John was an important artifact and we haven't been able to track down a copy.
Well, I have a few copies. I'll email you.
Astrid, I would absolutely love that. Can I text you my address?
You can totally text me.
Talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
We found John.
we found our John. Bring it in. Well done. We did it. My porn investigator.
Oh.
We're the porn spies.
So what we're talking about today is actually how we're going to elevate this conversation to the general public.
I keep thinking about this idea of like, we need a porn museum.
Yeah. What about a toga party?
Toga party, like the Greeks.
Yeah.
That's kind of porn, right? The vases.
Okay. I've got an idea.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we were talking to Scott from the Classic, because the Classic used to be a porn cinema. What if we turned like the Classic back into a porn cinema? Because I love that that choice of like having to think I'm about to watch porn and understanding that it's not real sex, that it's like entertainment.
It's so cool. The building's got so much history.
Yes.
And it's on
Yeah,
the main
cool.
street, the main street of Auckland, and like there's remnants of the history of the
Yes.
building there.
I don't know, like we could have like talks or...
It sounds like a porn forum.
Oh,
Wow. Come to the porn forum.
You guys could do a PowerPoint of everything you've learned.
A summit, is that the right, the porn summit?
Porn summit.
Ted XFF.
Yeah, there's something in there for sure. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I do like it. We do still need to do a real world activation though to get attention for that event. What's that next little piece?
Do you think boobs on bikes was a good stunt?
I think boobs on bikes is something that people come back to a lot. I was thinking we could do something like balls on e-bikes with you guys going through town. Maybe naked?
No. No. Anna Dean, no. I think it's being blurred out. Billboards that are like, I don't know, just like a QR code link that's like, people love a QR code. I mean, the comeback of the QR code is crazy.
So your idea is a big QR code?
No, hey, no bad ideas!
Yeah,
For fuck's sake.
That's true, that's true.
Can we bring in...
I'm sorry, but...
That's true.
We need a bloody counselling session.
Se acaba a vista pro mar, brisa tão